The special prosecutor's investigation so far has turned up no evidence of collusion between Trump and Russia. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. But with every passing day, we learn more about the shocking anti-Trump bias of Bob Mueller's team. Peter Strzok, Jeannie Rhee, Andrew Weissman, the list keeps growing and growing. And just today, we learned that attorney Aaron Zebley, who's known as Mueller's right-hand man, previously represented the guy who helped set up Hillary's private email system. I can't even believe this. And who later destroyed 2 of her mobile devices with a hammer. I wish we could put that hammer in the Smithsonian. Wouldn't that be fun? The president's allies have had enough, and according to the Wall Street Journal, are now urging him to go on the offense against a probe that now seems like nothing but a partisan political lynch mob, if you ask me. Joining us now from Phoenix is Republican Congressman Andy Biggs of Arizona, and here in Washington, Democratic strategist Michele Jawando of the Center for American Progress. Michele, I want to start with you because when you look at this list, I think we have a graphic of the contributions that some and his team have made. James Quarles has given $30,050 to Democrats. Jeannie Rhee, $9,150. Andrew Weissman, $4,000. Greg Andres, Andrew Goldstein, Elizabeth Perliger, Brandon Van Grack, Rush Atkinson, $200. That's not a big deal, but all the other ones are not insignificant. And you add that the fact that a lot of them one represented the Clinton Foundation, one represented Ben Rhodes. How does a regular American person not look at this Mueller team as just a bunch of Trump adversaries, political adversaries, who want to undo a presidential election?
Well, I think there are a few things. When we say in this country that you can serve in law enforcement, we don't have a political test for those individuals. I come from a family of prosecutors. When you sign up and you say you want to serve your country, there is no test. You don't have to pledge allegiance to a president. You pledge it to this country. And when Robert Mueller has found out about individuals who he was concerned about conflict of bias, he fired them. And that's exactly what we want him to do. So I understand.
Why didn't he reveal it at the time when he got rid of Strzok in July? Why didn't he reveal that to the American public, given the gravity of this investigation?
Right. I mean, I think if we remember the purpose of this investigation is national security. So I think what he is focusing on is how do we keep this country safe?
So you don't think that
you don't think
there's any
collusion?
You don't think there's any even appearance of a conflict with this group of people involved in an investigation that could lead to the impeachment of a president? No appearance of a conflict, not even an actual conflict, because if there's an appearance of a conflict, as a lawyer, you're really supposed to reveal what your potential conflict could be. And to me, the revelations are, it's like pulling teeth to try to get this information.
You know, but don't we want him to actually do what he did, which is to fire those individuals?
No, I want to know what they've said politically. I want to know what their emails and texts have said.
If we begin to focus on every individual as opposed to the purpose of this investigation.
You know what the fruit of the poisonous tree is?
Of course I do.
Okay,
One of the fun things you
right. So if you have ill-gotten gains in an investigation, ill-gotten either because of a bad actor or a biased actor, everything that comes as a result of that could be called into question. Well, I want to go to Congressman Biggs on this. Congressman, I find the president's legal team, frankly, to be a little bit kind of almost gun-shy to question the Mueller team. The president was very tough on the Justice Department and has been in some tweets, but his legal team had been more circumspect here.
Yeah, and I think they're wrong to be circumspect, because what we have here, this is the very swamp creature that all of America is looking at, because it isn't that Robert Mueller said, oh, this is why we got rid of Strzok. We had to pry that out. That came through FOIA requests. Congress has asked for information. We're not getting it. One thing we found out from Director Sessions and Director Wray, or Attorney General Sessions and Director Wray, is they don't even have a process for vetting and for conflict of interest. So most private sector law firms and even in prosecutorial agencies, if you have a bias, you've got to disclose that bias, because it's an ethical violation to take a conflict of interest case. So people check that out. These biases are not inconsequential. If you're giving $30,000 to Democrats, guess what? You're all in. You're all in. If you are being critical of President Trump and in an overt way showing up at resist movement issues, you're not just saying, hey, I'm a political participant.
Well, it undermines the credibility. I'm going to ask you both.
Yes.
Does this not undermine the credibility of an investigation when you have rank partisans who worked for Ben Rhodes, who worked for the Clinton Foundation, and now someone who actually represented the guy who destroyed the email, the devices, with a hammer. So you're actually working for the political adversary of the guy you're now investigating. Now, if that's not an apparent conflict of interest, then I don't know what is. But I think it undermines the overall integrity of an investigation that, frankly, should be unassailable, given the gravity of it. Michele, you can close out.
Laura, I think we need to remember that we're talking about someone who served this country in Vietnam. He has had respect on both sides of the aisle for years. And if we are now saying that someone who is as respected as Robert Mueller is... So he
can never make a mistake?
Of course you can make a mistake. But the question is, why are we raising these questions now as he continues
because
to
we're
get
finding out
closer
the information
to
now.
President Trump's inner circle?
Well, did you agree with Bill Clinton when Bill Clinton went after you know what I'm going to ask?
Okay.
If Bill Clinton went after Ken Starr's legal team for being biased, did you criticize him for doing that?
When we are focused on national security and when we want to get to the root of what role
There's no Russia collusion. There's no Russia collusion. They gave that up long ago.
Then I think
where's the Russia collusion?
Recognize that this is about protecting one another.
Where's the Russian collusion?
He's not interested in going after partisans. He's interested in keeping this country
Where's
safe.
the Russian collusion?
And I think it's actually almost comical that the FBI, they're
it's comical that you can't answer the question.
Conservative men at the FBI, and now we are saying that all of a sudden they're like raging liberals.
The people on the investigation are raging liberals.
Almost like comical, Laura.
Okay, so Andrew Weissman's a raging liberal?
I think
raging conservative?
I think it's almost comical.
No, what's comical is that you didn't criticize Bill Clinton's people when they were trashing Ken Starr. As I recall, I don't think those guys were being criticized because they were actually smart. They went on the offense against Ken Starr, and that's why in the end the Starr report ended up leading to impeachment. But in the end, Bill Clinton ended up more popular because last time I checked, the gals in the Senate ended up doing a pep rally for Bill Clinton after that impeachment.
National security isn't a partisan issue.
That's never been a partisan issue. Congressman, close it out.
Well, look, nobody's criticizing Mueller's veterans history. We're criticizing the way he's conducting this investigation, which is loading up the team. It's like playing basketball, and not only is the other team against you, but all the refs, the scorekeeper, and everyone else. And that's what you've got going on here, and that's the problem with Mueller.
Okay.